And yeah, for everyone joining in, what I'm basically doing right now is establishing permissions within our UI. The product I'm building is a thing called Waltr, in which you can manage like quotas and balances for your software as a service. So my customers would be someone trying to launch a software as a service of their own, but they don't want to take the time to build out a quota or balance system. So yeah, the part we're dealing with is certain users will have certain things they're able to do. And hey, what's up, Misty? I don't think I knew that you streamed. I'm sorry, Misty. I should have followed you ages ago. I probably did know you streamed, and I just forgot to do it. So that's my bad. Because I remember you mentioning streaming over in Time Enjoyed stream. You only recently started? I feel like I've seen you mention that you were thinking about it or something then. But awesome stuff. Hell yeah. But yeah, welcome everyone. You just missed my spiel. I'll give the spiel again. I am working on a thing called Waltr to help software as a service companies not have to manage their own like payments and transactions and stuff like that. And I want to be able to give them, you know, like an auditable list in which, you know, they can just go and like see all of these things, get their reporting without having to build that stuff themselves. I feel like it's a good idea. Like I'm going to need to dog food it into other software as a service I build eventually, just to make sure, right? So that's my main goal. We're getting to the point where, like as an example, if we go to quotas, certain users should be able to create a new quota and certain ones should not. Nab, that is pretty spammy. And I'm not aware of what mapg even is. So yeah, I'm sorry. Nah. If you're a regular and you've been here for a long time, it might be a different thing. But as far as just like a quick drive-by, I don't know. It is pretty spammy. And in Zader Vim and everyone else from Leon's cohort and all that stuff, check out, there's like learning you can do with AWS as well. AWS Learning Center? So they've got like, yeah, the skill builder is a platform where you can get like a bunch of like free courses for AWS stuff. But another thing that's really interesting is they actually, in a lot of cities, have a physical location where you can go in as well, right? Basically at the AWS Skills Centers. So depending on where you live, you might have one of those. There's one here in Seattle. There's one in Arlington. I don't know about one in Vegas. It does look like Seattle and Arlington are like their big ones. So it doesn't look like there's one in Vegas. But you can do it remotely, right? Like so virtual locations for, right, exam prep, etc. for the cloud practitioner certificate. That's kind of cool. But yeah, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that's free. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not keen to shill some event that I'm not aware of. But anyway, just wanted to share that stuff. Wanted to make sure that people were aware of it. So yeah, just in case, you can learn. Depending on your time zone, some of this stuff might be better or worse. Oh, they do a discount or something. Oh, cool. Go for it, Misty. I mean, technically, if you just wanted to use it, you can. It's the thing that's also replacing like text within the messages. Yeah, no worries, Jody. Geostorm, do I know how to hook Windows syscalls from a C++ driver? I do not. It's not really the kind of programming I typically do. Watching from New Zealand? Yeah. Yeah, I would say check out the remote ones. There might be one on your time zone that works out for you. Some of them, maybe not. Just depends. Oh, irreverent Mike, Mr. Sir. Yeah. Thanks for the sub, dude. If you're trying to hook syscalls from a driver, you're probably cheating in a video game. Yeah, that sounds about right. Can't let those Prime subs go to waste. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so here's something I want to do. We'll do a new window here. Because I need like another user logged in to verify some of these things. Oh, the hat pin. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a little crooked right now. So, yeah, this is a great one. Basically, it's for a thing called Honk, which is a stack for kind of like building stuff on Cloudflare. So it's the Hono, Drizzle, Neon, Cloudflare stack. Right? I think a lot of those stacks are a bit meh, but this one's fun. Right? So yeah, if you want to build on Cloudflare, this might be a great way to get started with it. And Cloudflare has a really, really generous free tier. So, like Cloudflare workers and all that stuff could definitely be worth fiddling with if you're not quite ready for something like AWS. And it looks like they do weekly live streams. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, honk.dev. Let me give you the link. You're just poking at durable objects for the first time. Yeah, they make some really cool stuff. And use it now before it gets fat Joed? Is Fat Joe dead? Or is he just retired? Is that what you're meaning when you say Fat Joe? Oh, today's price is not yesterday's price. Got it. Yeah, get grandfathered into that free tier. And yeah, I'm doubting if my talk will get accepted. They don't typically do a lot of like case study style talks. So that's a little trickier. But we'll see. You wish they had a document style database? I mean, D1 is SQLite. That's pretty close to a document style database, right? Like every field is a string. But yeah, I guess you still use SQL with it. You're looking for just like something that doesn't need a schema, right? There is the key value store, but it's probably not exactly what you're looking for. You could probably wire something up that's document-like on durable objects. But yeah, I haven't messed with it enough. And yeah, Mr. Elfman, yeah, Cloudflare, as far as like the proxy goes, has been free for ages, but they may end up changing some of the billing for this other stuff. You never know. All right. So yeah, I wanted Firefox. We want localhost. Is it not 3000? 5173. That's right, because it's a Vite site. All right, so hold on. Let me go to settings here, user management. We've got one that is set up. Let me double check which one of these that is set up is actually in my two-factor auth. Full new flow. Looks like brand new might be newer. Maybe deleted that one. That was a lie. Yeah, let's do full new flow. So full new flow at Gorilla. And what's up, Sneaky? And yeah, anyone curious? Yes, I rolled my own two-factor auth. As well as my own magic link logic. Oop. All right, so that worked, and we should be part of that team. I'd say collectively, probably around, let's just say 6 months. There was a period where I worked on it in 2022 for about 2 or 3 months, like building up the dashboard, the marketing site, the API, all that stuff. And then had to get a job and do some other stuff, and it kind of got put on the back burner. And then I finally probably picked it back up again like 3 or 4 months ago, but then had to like take a break from it while I was traveling a lot for conferences. So that was when I did the hackathon project, because it was a smaller scope. I didn't need to like refamiliarize myself with it every single time I came back. And okay, so the user full new flow is just read access, which means, yeah, this is where we can go in and maybe click edit. And yeah, in this edit quota form, hold on, which one were we doing? This is the balance form, so we should do it for balances. All right, perfect. So what we want is you need write permission to create a balance. This is what I was looking for to verify that we get this tooltip that you can barely see. I can move it into view, and that we disable this save button and the user is not actually able to edit anything, right? They would actually be denied at the database level. So we're safe there still, but we don't want to allow them to get into a state where they're seeing a bunch of errors anyway. So the main goal is to add functionality like this throughout the app based upon the level of permissions needed for certain actions. So yeah. And what's everyone up to? You enjoying this nice fine Tuesday? For me, it was the day that I got rated by Learn with Leon. For you guys, it was a Tuesday. Working on a project? Nice. Yeah, I got rated while I was on a work call. Yeah, which is fine. It's not a big deal. It was basically just the weekly one-on-one with my boss. Last week's one-on-one was mainly just taken up with like the performance review stuff and, just me doing a little bit of content. But this meeting call was more about like content strategy and blah, blah. For anyone who doesn't know, I am a developer advocate at GitKraken. So yeah, you may be curious as to what a developer advocate does. I make video content a lot. That's like the main role, or main like thing they want me to do. But then every once in a while I do blog posts. I speak at like some of our workshops and partner events with like Atlassian and some of that stuff, which is super fun. It's my first time as a developer advocate. I've been a developer since like around 2014. Like I was doing more before that, but my first real job was like 2014, 2015. Like I had been freelancing, but meh. Alex Hormozy. I don't know who that is. But yeah, so we should continue with this flow, right? Like all this stuff that we end up needing to do. We're going to have some errors on pages that maybe we're messing up. So this was the balance create page. All right, we should do that real quick. I'm going to drag it just slightly off to the side so I can click it. So if we go to balance create, this button should actually be grayed out and show that tooltip. But at least while we're on this page, I want to make sure we got that. So yeah, create balance. Here's the interesting part. The balance edit page didn't have that, but it still failed on us. One of the fun things I like about how I did this has permission check is you'll notice I'm only passing the name of the permission, right? I'm not passing my user data every place that I need it. And I kind of like how we're doing this because when we change businesses, that role will just update. So here in auth, we're using Yotai, which is an atomic state management library. And the goal of that is that I can have this has permission atom, which returns a function that gets created every time this get business value gets updated. And realistically, I think I want to do this. Now, something's up here. It's saying the type is wrong. Ah, no. That was it. Okay. So yes, now this will be an entirely brand new function every time the business gets updated. So then we just check this, and it should update as we change businesses, which we're hiding in the UI at the moment because I wasn't happy with that mechanism that we had for it. Interesting that we got completely logged out everywhere. Turns out our token's valid. We just have some case where that value is not getting populated the way we want. I think that just boils down to like a dev mode problem. I don't think it's a problem that we'll have in production. So I think that's okay. All right, so all right, we go to create a new balance as this user. Can't do it because we need write permission. Perfect. If we go to balances and we go to edit a balance, we can't do that as well. Now, the reason we want to do that on this page is because the user could be passed a bookmark or a link, even if these buttons here are disabled for them. So yeah, let's get to those permissions now. And let's make sure this works. So hold on. This user should have permission and doesn't. No. This is where we need the role hierarchy. So there was some back-end code. Yeah. So I'm glad I was checking that. We've got some middleware. Right? We basically want that logic. Oh, and yeah, that's actually a flaw in what I'm doing here in auth. I don't want to be checking this part here. And we're saying role string. We actually want that to be role. So we shouldn't need this cast anymore. Yep. All right, there we go. So that should fix that logic. We're going to have to figure out what's causing that. Hmm. So we've got a bit of a bug here. I'm just going to pull out this function and fiddle with it here. Oh, and I think we want that to be greater than or equal to. So hold on. I'm pretty sure I know the bug already. Ah, that bug's getting annoying, but at least we don't have to keep relogging it. And we want less than or equal to. All right, so that user can do it. Oop. This user cannot. Perfect. Just wanted to verify that. Let me get another album going. And it's basically 5 o'clock. Let me go pour some more water, and I will be right back. Give me a sec. It's basically 5 o'clock. I think that counts. So, grab myself a quick snack too. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. There you go. The snack. I don't know if you guys have had these. This is a lemon pepper, citrus, and basil turkey stick. 1 gram of sugar, 9 grams of protein. The turkey is probably better on saturated fat than the pork one. 0.5 grams, 3.5 total grams of fat. Cholesterol, 11%, so not ideal. Quite a bit of sodium. So it's not the healthiest thing, but it's healthier than a lot of other, meat sticks. And yeah, the lemon pepper flavor is really good on it. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Man, I was hungry. Yeah, you should definitely eat something there, Einsenheim. All the good streamers get on in the evening. Who just got on? Who are you talking about? Well, I guess you mean evening for you, right? Gotcha. Yeah, this is my first time trying Pendleton in a long time. It's a giant bottle. I think we all know I'm normally a bourbon connoisseur. So we're going to give it a taster. And then just pour water in it. Me, Snowcone. Oh, there's a bunch of really great streamers, Eisenheim. Yeah. I am happy to recommend more and more. Hedge? I'm not familiar with Hedge. This album's a bit loud. Yeah, no worries. Oh, yeah, about to pick a cloud solution? That'd be a terrible idea. There may still be a need for it, but maybe not as the main database. So yeah, Pendleton. It's been a long time since I've had it. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, there's always like the cost of a cloud solution, there's the latency of a cloud solution. You may end up needing a cloud solution for things where you want to actually maintain like cross device functionality. So, as an example, with Gitkraken, the repos that you've allowed us access to that you have in your workspaces to pull down with one button click, you can pull down 5, 10, however many repos you want. That kind of functionality would be required if you wanted to go from device to device, like things like that. For a Tory app is a local database or a local application. So think Electron. So for an Electron or a desktop app based on Tory, having a local database for some of your storage makes a lot of sense. Right? Think about like Obsidian or a bunch of those kinds of apps. Most of the desktop applications that you have are using some kind of database to store their data. A local JSON file? Yeah, sure. Could have went with SQLite. I would say SQLite's a great option. There's also one that we're using for our CLI tool that seems interesting. BeaverDB, I think. No, not BadgerDB. This is it. Yeah. So it's an incredibly fast Go key value store. You know, there's all sorts of stuff. Dead set on it being document based. What'd you end up recommending? You said a JSON file, right? There's an older one, NEDB. It does seem like it hasn't been touched in a while, though. I'm trying to remember what I've used instead. LowDB? LowDB might be a decent option because it's basically just a local JSON database. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Just making sure, you know. Like, are there any other JSON style databases? Didn't want to go full database? Yeah, I mean, because local Mongo isn't like embeddable, right? You need someone else to have that installed separately, which is not ideal. And I know there's some like JSON, like she's doing Rust, right? So Rust JSON DB. All right, so some of this stuff might be worthwhile. I don't know about this one specifically. A lot of this stuff is like really... Oh, here we go. PoloDB. Also not that downloaded. But yeah, could also be worth it. But anyway, not important. Not a big deal. All right, so we don't need to log that anymore. We do need to update our has role permission package. Yeah, no worries. You're the man now, dog. I think I saw that movie in theater. Maybe not. All right. So now that function should work as expected. Finding Forrester. Yep. He's the one that says the "You're the man now, dog" comment. Do I always like to roll my own auth? Geostorm. I wouldn't say always. Like in the past, I've used Cognito at companies. I think we used Auth0 at one point for some other things. And it's fine. What you gain with some of those things, you kind of lose in customizability. I tend to do JWTs for user sessions. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the people that are anti like JWT, like token storage, right? Like local storage for it. Because their arguments just really just don't work for me, right? Like their argument, like Ryan Florence has been quoted in the past as saying, if you're using Unpackage in production, Michael Jackson, his friend that maintains Unpackage, could absolutely add some payload that exfiltrates your token to somewhere. Number one, you shouldn't be using Unpackage in production, so that's a straw man argument for sure. Number two is if a compromised package makes it into your application, that same package can make a request on your behalf using your cookie as well. So it's not like the cookie versus token is actually the problem there. It's the supply chain vulnerability. You know, the call's already coming from inside the house. It doesn't matter if they're using a landline or a cell phone. So yes, I find a lot of the arguments against it not as valid. I would understand maybe your bank probably shouldn't do it. They also shouldn't have major supply chain vulnerabilities, like crazy JavaScript packages going for stuff. But if you're doing something like this, where it's just a dashboard, like I don't think it matters. Right? There's no injection attack that someone's going to perform. So we don't have to worry about like user like submitted like data creating some cross-site scripting vulnerability. So there's very little like problem we have here with a JWT versus a cookie, but JWTs are infinitely easier to scale. The moment when you want to revoke a JWT, well, then you end up needing the same basic mechanism as what your cookie storage would entail as well, right? So if you need revocation, that's one reason for, yeah, I mean, revoking a cookie is just as easy at that point, right? And the scalability concerns are then the same because you have to scale that database that all of these other nodes need to access. There are definitely arguments for local storage being just way simpler to implement in all sorts of like other places, like mobile apps, etc. Right? In a mobile app, right? Even if you want to get cookies going, you're still having to like store them and access them in a way that you lose a lot of the protections that cookies would afford you. Right? In a mobile app, you're no longer beholden to the rules of how cookies get handled by the browsers. And you have to store that cookie to keep the user logged in at that point. So yeah, it's a series of trade-offs. I don't consider the arguments against JWTs as important in every use case. There are cases for cookies. There are cases for JWTs. for this application, JWT. Watered down Pendleton is actually much better than straight Pendleton. Straight Pendleton had a burn that I was not a fan of. But yeah, just felt like supporting some Canadian whiskey. For reasons. And it was cheap. It was like real cheap. But okay, so let's continue looking at what we want to do. So when we go to balances here on this page, we want to disable that stuff. Oh, and one thing, hold on. We go back to middleware here. And we don't have that because we don't have that dependency installed for the database. It's amazing. You're welcome, random stuff. It's called Dorama Sands. And yeah, I mean, let's just look at it real quick. Where's a place where I can demo the glory of it? Oh, yeah. No, not that one. Auth? Here it is, auth. Right, have you ever seen a smoother thick arrow in your life? I don't think so. We called it Drama Sans. Right? Sans the drama. Right, so onto this page. All right, we are doing balance stuff first. We went to balance edit here. Has permission we did not bring in yet. All right, so we solved that bit. Balance details. I think we're good on. Actually, no, balance details we should do first. Tool tip. What don't they like about tooltip? Because we got it from recharts instead. All right, so that person can do it. This person should not be able to do it. Yep. All right, cool. And then you need write permission to create a balance. Not quite. You need write permission to edit or delete a balance. Cool. All right, so then we do that on balance details. The next bit would be balances, and we want to do basically the same thing for that menu icon. Actually, no, details we want available. So it's not going to be for the whole menu, it's going to be for some of these buttons. Hold on, is there some other thing we can do for the tooltip? Oh, all right. So hold on. We don't actually need to do that. We can simplify this logic. Yeah, that's way better. Okay, so we get rid of that. Which means, yeah, I also want to go back. Let's go balance details. What's up, Doblado? Which crazy extension? The one that's like annotating the class names at the end? The one that's like the spicy thing? Or like when I type the way it says like much logic, much solid? And then like the combo. Or all of them, right? Which ones do you want me to showcase for you? Because I look at my hands when I type anyway. Who cares? Let's double check that actually works the way we intend it to. I think the tooltip actually just needs to go around the action icon. Yes. Okay, cool. Let me get more music playing. Yeah, that simplifies a bunch of stuff. That's nice. So yeah, balance, create. We do pass that in, which is fine. Where's the balance form? Yeah, we don't need to do this anymore. Oh, it has permission is a boolean. Yeah, yeah. The tooltip is because we're disabling the menu in certain states. So notice how it works here, but it doesn't work for this other user that doesn't have the permission. So the tooltip is actually to highlight why the button is disabled. We want to actually like do the tooltip and disable it because it gives the user a little bit of like insight into if they need to request more permission from their admin. If it's just hidden, it's a little bit trickier of a conversation. Right? Like, I don't see that button. And then people like discover it's because they don't have the permission, where instead, like, we can surface that to the user. I think it's a good user experience thing, personally. No. Yeah, no worries. It's fine. So yeah, we do the same thing on certain pages where the user could get there, but shouldn't, right? So as an example, we could get to the edit page here, and the user shouldn't be able to do this either. And we want to kind of just surface that everywhere, because what if someone, gave us the link, even though the button to get to this page should be disabled too? What if they were like, just given the link by a coworker? I use Mantine. I have a command for Mantine? I do. Nice. But okay. So, yeah, we get to this page, we do that. We head back to here. And we want to disable not the whole thing, right? But the edit and delete buttons. I'm wondering if we can actually do this. So it looks like it allows it, but does it actually work? Yeah, it does. Cool. Alrighty, so I'm into that. We need to disable the New Balance button. Right? Disabled for that user. Enabled there. We go here. That button needs to also get disabled for new user. Those look fine. That looks fine. Sweet. Here we go. This is the next one. We're doing app permissions, right? So the API would already restrict the user from doing any of this stuff, but the app should restrict that. We do have a today command if you're curious about the specific parts that we're working on today. So we figured out the build step issue. I just hadn't actually built, but now we are at the part of disabling sections that a new user shouldn't be able to edit, etc. So yeah, balances, business create. A user should always be able to create a business. That one's fine. Login, MFA stuff is fine. OAuth is fine. Overview's fine. So yeah, now it's the quota pages. So I'm using Architect. So Stack handles the, or not Stack, Architect handles the deployment of the backend, and the front end is just static assets. So that part's really easy. So AWS Lambda, DynamoDB, all that stuff is handled by Architect. It creates a SAM and everything for us. Like super easy, super chill. And for the front end, it's just, CDN, right? S3 and CloudFront. That part is going to be a bit more manual, but it's super easy. All right, quota details. So very similar, right? The edit. All right, so then that would be for quotas. Let's double check we did that part right. It's on the quota details page. Oh, wait, no. Shit. Okay, no, I did this one wrong. I was thinking of the wrong page. All right, there we go. So editing a quota, now not possible. Quota edit, and we have a quota form. And yeah, any other questions? Just let me know. And at the bottom, we do the tooltip. Oh, so hold on. We've got this for create or edit. And what are we passing in as args? We'll just say create or edit. All right, so quota edit, we do that part. Quota create, we got to do this part. All right, so then for the quota details page, or quota details, we're good there. Yeah. For quotas, now we need this part. And instead of has role permission, it's has permission. And this might actually be something that I would consider Cursor capable of doing, but meh. Right, like being able to edit it like across all these other files, because it is somewhat redundant, like repetitive, you know? That one looks good to me. Yep. So then over here in settings, yeah, let's go to the settings page and look at that. So we would need write permission for the save button. I would say we would need write permission for creating and deleting an API key. Inviting a user is admin permission. And editing or deleting would require admin permission as well. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow's Seattle JS. Hold on, let me do one quick thing over here. Oh, Space Case, you out there? Hold on, let's look at this site. Active comply. Improve compliance while reducing costs. Okay. I didn't realize they were based in Florida. Do they allow remote work? It doesn't really say. But yeah, someone I know from Seattle JS in general says that this company is hiring. They're looking for a senior software engineer full stack. I'm not sure if they do remote or not. It does just say United States, which means that they might allow remote. And the fact that this role is not on their main website looks like you do have to apply through LinkedIn. I don't see where they list their tech stack. Okay, the role would be front-end focused, supporting React, JS, TypeScript, and tooling in addition to occasional work in the backend, which is C#.net. All right, so I'm not sure if Space Case does any of that stuff, but could be worth it. But anyone else out there, if you do C# with a focus on front-endy, like Reacty stuff, could be a cool company. Looks like someone just gave us a shout out, which is cool. But yeah, so let's continue with the permissions on this page. We need to bring in this atom over here. If we don't have write permission for saving the business name, we just bail out. And this button, nope, not that button. This button you need write permissions to save settings, and then we disable the button. Oh. All right, so we do that part, and then we get down into API key stuff. I would say creating a new API key is just write permission. And then, yes, after that bit, for being able to modify API keys, I would say write permission is probably okay. All right, so then user management. Yes, inviting a user requires you need admin permission to invite a user. Ah, looks like I didn't fix that button. Ah, that was it. All right, disabled now. We go to settings. You need write permission to save settings. You need write permission to create an API key or to delete an API key. You need admin permission to invite a user. I think seeing who all's on the team should actually be allowed. So then if we go modify the endpoint for business users, that will actually show up for us. Yeah, all right. So then, yeah, you need admin permission to edit a user's permissions or delete a user. But all right, I'd say I think we did it. I think we actually finished up the permission stuff like a day early too, because we were planning on making it be like a 3-day fix. I think we got it done early. Don't tell our project manager; they'll just assign more work. Now we got more work to do. Yeah, I'm actually really happy that that got knocked out easier. Yeah. So then if we go to user settings here, we see our associated businesses. Right? If we don't have invite status, that means we're the owner of the business. At which point we wouldn't be able to leave that business. That part I'm a little fuzzier on. Fine tuning local DeepSeek. And technically, it's not actually DeepSeek, right? It's a distilled version of either Quen or Olama or something, right? You're sure? Like, do you have a link to where you got it or whatever? I'm almost positive anything that you could run on consumer hardware would not be full DeepSeek. But I could be wrong. Oh, I bet. Supported models. So you're saying DeepSeek Coder, like one of these? Interesting. Wait, what do you mean ACM? Hmm. Yeah, I've never heard of Refect. Let me know how you like it. I'm curious. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so being able to leave a team, I think we can do that one later. Yeah, I'd say implementing permissions into the UI, we're done. We need to figure out and implement the sandbox environment. And hold on, let me close the window. My window's wide open. It was warm earlier. It is cold now. Okay. The dance party when I go. All right. I'm okay with it. So yeah, how do we want to think about sandbox environment stuff? Right? This is where we got to start brainstorming a bit. Nah, that's fine, Code Drift. I appreciate it. We need to implement sandbox environment stuff. So the idea being your data, right? You can like fiddle with Waltr without affecting your production data. Stripe's API key segregation. Yeah, we don't have SSO. So we do that. Yeah. All right, so sandbox, read permission, and we'll give it right. Right, so then Waltr, sandbox, then the key. And we may want to increase the length of that key. I like the Waltr part as a prefix as well, just so you can like tell them apart easier. But maybe that's not important. All right, so then Waltr production. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Um, exactly. Yeah, because this is all Dynamo. I don't even have an instance. It's all shared tables. I could create entirely separate like databases. I don't know if that's important. Yeah, the sandbox versus production stuff is going to be a major refactor of like all of our endpoints. What about what are you talking about there, ACM? Yeah, exactly. Sandbox is a testing environment. Yes. Right. Sandbox is what you would use if you're a dev and you're just like fiddling with things, trying to understand how it works, etc. You don't necessarily want to like do that with production data though, right? All right, like your staging environment should probably be using test data as an example, like the sandbox environment. So your staging should be using my sandbox. And we could call it staging. I think sandbox or test makes more sense though. But so we've got that stuff committed. And I am thinking that this will probably be at least a week's worth of effort. And we kind of need to just like brainstorm and talk about it for the most part today. We may not do a whole bunch of heavy lifting today. This would be planning out what we end up needing to do on Thursday. And yeah, let me double check my calendar. Not calendar.com. So I've got a thing on Saturday. I thought I scheduled something for Thursday. I got something for next week's Thursday. One second. One second, ACM. So wait, what about tonic? So why did you post tonic? Do you think it's relevant to what we're building? Come on, use your words. And I guess another big thing we need to think about is where in the UI do we want to toggle sandbox on and off? Right? Maybe just like a toggle up here at the top. And then we got to think about like what that means when we get to here. I think maybe it just lives beneath the header. You're thinking over in the left nav, maybe? And yeah, we got major responsiveness issues for our tables here. So yeah, like mobile responsiveness is probably post MVP. So yeah, Stripe puts it up top. For mobile, it would probably just be like an extra banner below. I got to be careful about too much like junk. All right, that was a solid joke, X Metrics. I like that. What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo? One's really heavy and the other is a little lighter. That is solid. That was a good joke. Looking for more solid jokes? They're rare. Yeah. And hold on. Just registration approved for that event. I guess it's Luma I should be checking. But yeah. Okay, so I don't necessarily want to sign into Stripe right now because I don't remember the password or any of that junk. Role/company. Okay, so yeah, I thought so. Add to my calendar. Oh, and that one's Friday? Oh. Oh. Yeah, I'm not making it to a thing at noon. Shit. I totally misread that. All right, so then a thing next Thursday and a thing the Thursday after that. Okay. Oh, you got a screenshot? Awesome. Okay. And then, oh, uh, do you have what it looks like when you drag it like mobile? You're using test data. No real transactions will be processed. Yeah, I definitely want to do like a banner of some kind up top for sure. And then I'm guessing on mobile, like, is their dashboard even mobile friendly? Because that would be, you know, nice if they weren't, because then I can justify not doing it for myself. It is. Damn it. Okay, so yeah, they do throw it up top. There's no way of hiding it. Where's the toggle? Actually, did they redesign the UI? Yeah, so if you're in test mode, is the toggle like inside the menu? Okay. Yeah, so if I consider what we do for Waltr, I would probably end up doing the same thing. And oh, they put it under the gear? Oh, I think that's interesting. I would have put it in like the mobile menu. In the gear, huh? Okay. Huh. Right, like the whole page is nicer. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the unmissable, this is test mode. Yeah, I definitely want to do something like that. I was going to put it under. I was going to put it under the top banner, but above it makes a lot of sense too. And hey, Nick Wan, Mr. Sir, how you doing? Been a little bit. Doing dailies, huh? Nice. Oh, there's like a data conference here in Seattle coming up. Uh, Hold on. DataCon 2025. Keep in mind that, yeah, this is a Seattle thing. It's probably this convention. Nope, that's Calgary. Eh. But yeah, basically, datacon.us. That's it. I don't know. It's like a Microsoft focused data conference, but I did think of you a little bit when I saw it come up. So yeah, Nick Wan and everyone from their audience, if you're in the area, might be worth checking out. If you are maybe thinking about presenting, the call for speakers ends in 17 days. So it might be worth submitting a talk. It is all about like Microsoft stuff. So Power BI, Azure Machine Learning for AI driven insights, Cosmos DB, Microsoft Purview, those kind of things. If you're using any of that and you have like a cool case study or talk you want to give, it could be worth it. They got three different types of, oh, they got a few different types of talks. So a 20-minute sponsor solution showcase case study, a half day or full day workshop, right? A 70-minute technical session, maybe even a keynote. Just throwing it out there if you guys use any of that. Like Nick won some of that cool like data driven stuff for baseball would be like really interesting talks if you guys use some of that. Nick could give a talk about MS Paint. There you go. That's a thing. RDR fan, are you a Radar fan? Radar's pretty cool. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm guessing it's actually Red Dead Redemption. Oh, it is football? Oh, like Raider as in like the Raiders. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, what was it? The Oakland Raiders moved to LA and then back to Oakland. Nobody in LA seemed to notice. It's a quote from Basketball. Right? The Jazz moved to Salt Lake City where they don't allow music. Like a bunch of those jokes. Yeah. I love Basketball. It's such a fun movie. So yeah, welcome everyone. Nick Wan, are you still out there? I know how it works when you raid someone. You typically got to go. Did we do the shout out things? I think we did, right? We did the regular one. Did I do that one? We did. Perfect. He went to dinner. Got it. What was he doing on stream today? I'm guessing some MS Paint stuff. For everyone joining from the raid, let me describe what we're doing here today. The thing we ended up working on for the majority of the day was implementing permissions into our UI, which means... Oh, did I mess up that one? Yeah, so basically some of these buttons get disabled when you don't have the permission to do that action. We give you a tooltip to let you know why. And, for other users, if you're an admin or you have write permission, you can use the button. So we did a bunch of that stuff today, which was nice. Yesterday was setting up the utility function for it that updates as we change businesses. And today was implementing that stuff into our UI. We are now considering how we want to deal with sandbox data, right? So very similar to how Stripe works, we kind of want people to be able to test against their various like balances, etc. What I'm thinking is we want, and this is where we got to make like these decisions. So let's start codifying some of this stuff, right? As we get into here, toggle at top of page, persistent banner when in sandbox mode. And then from here, some of the other stuff is we need to scope ID values to sandbox when in sandbox mode. Adds a header to requests. When mobile view put toggle in menu. See, I think we'll do it slightly different. It's probably not going to go in like the cog for settings, because really like what we'd end up doing is just having like probably like the user icon as our button and make that just be like user settings and logout. I would say this menu would have the toggle on mobile. Now here's something interesting. We could just put it over in the left sidebar anyway. That part I'm less sure of. But then I guess another question is, should we allow balances and quotas to carry over between? So basically, if you create a balance, does the balance actually exist in sandbox and production at all times, or do we completely separate that? And that would be related to maybe how Stripe works. In Stripe, when you create a new product, is that in both environments? Right? For something you can like purchase. That would be the trickier thing, in my opinion. I guess one big thing is we want to consider maybe the potential cost. So if you create a balance in production, we end up creating account balances per account for that balance, which would mean if you create a balance in Sandbox, we would also then have to go iterate all of your production users as well and create account balances for them. So that's like the main reason I would maybe want to have those be separate, just for the cost to me to go create all that stuff when it might not be what you're intending. But then the cost to the user is that they have to go recreate a balance in production even though they already created it over in Sandbox. Accounts would be specific, right? Accounts would not carry over. Balances and quotas, I could see an argument for them carrying over. How do you all feel about that? Oh, and it turns out Monday is actually a holiday for work, which means I could probably do like a big old long stream on that Monday, provided I wake up early enough. That's a big if. Yeah, if I go strictly from like a payment standpoint, right? Like how much it costs me to like run the database requests, right? Number one, like users, like because accounts are going to be specific. When you create a balance for Sandbox, it's going to be very much less costly for us. Okay. So yeah, I think I've kind of convinced myself that balances and quotas do not carry over. One option would be when you go to create a new balance in production, we can ask if you want to bring in the settings from Sandbox. I like that idea. I like that. And then another question we have for this is, should we scope permissions differently in Sandbox and Prod? Which would mean like being able to read in production, but only write in Sandbox mode, or like write in Sandbox, but only read in production. How would you feel about that, like on your team? Would you want to scope that differently? And maybe that's post MVP. Okay, let me get more music going. Let's pour another one of these. Man, honestly, Pendleton's not bad. I bet it would be better in Coca-Cola or something. Alrighty, so yeah, let's pour some more water. Oh, and hold on, here's another question. When does that game Avowed come out? This is important. February 18th. Okay. Oh, and it's free on Game Pass. Dude, that shit's so good. Yeah, I'm pumped on that. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm actually really pumped on it. Early access release date is Thursday. Oh man. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, Game Pass. All right. Anyone else looking forward to Avowed? And yeah, who here has an opinion? Like, I may have convinced myself that this is the right way to go about balances and quotas existing within both sandbox and prod. But how about you guys? Are you guys convinced? Because that's important too. Just because I convinced myself doesn't mean it's actually right. They probably shouldn't carry over. Awesome. That makes my job so much easier. I just wanted to double check. And then how do you feel about permissions? Keeping them separate will avoid pain later, and it's cheaper for me too. So then what about like user permissions? Would you want to give someone sandbox like write permission, but then maybe only read permission in production? A background in accounting? That could be interesting. And I think, yeah, you think the permissions don't need to be scoped separately? Like that could be a post MVP? There you go. I like that idea. You would imagine the same about the separation, though? I mean, it does feel like a valid use case, but we can just wait for someone to ask for it, right? Like proper MVP style. It's really easy to like allow scope creep to prevent us from actually shipping. Because we already got so much more effort that we got to put in anyway. Right? Like this part, that part's easy. Yeah, I agree. This part's gonna be heavy. Yeah, getting our API testing up to date. We haven't run that at all. Yeah, debugging our production build is gonna be tough. Email delivery and all that. Not tough, but just time consuming. I think a lot of this stuff might be pretty easy. Considering how we mitigate DDoS and spam, that part's a little trickier. Oh yeah, no. So I mean, pre-MVP sweep, yeah, mitigating DDoS and spam, I think, is more necessary than we would normally think. Because I'm a streamer, and I know for a fact there are people that just don't like me. It is an API gateway concern. Yes, exactly. I don't think Architect allows us to set up any of the load balancers. API gateway rules can absorb some of that? Okay. So that's the sandbox environment. That's not what we care about. Yeah, I haven't done any of that major config before. So I think the API gateway stuff, I would consider that essential for our launch. But we may have to publish first before we do that. Publish API and dashboard. Marketing site. Content. That's probably like 2 days. And then, yeah, let me just double check this. Some of these bugs are not a problem. I think quota groups and tiers is a big part. That'll be good. Moving to serverless OpenSearch would actually be kind of a good move at some point. But that's way down the line. But it would make our database like costs cheaper. This is definitely something we'll want maybe just to wait till a customer asks. That can definitely wait. Per route bundling, probably necessary. CloudFront's something I was planning on doing for the front end stuff, right? Hold on. How's my duck doing? I wasn't thinking about CloudFront in front of the API though. I hadn't considered that. I was also wondering about somehow throwing Cloudflare and their like DDoS mitigation in front of the API. There's also AWS Shield, but you haven't used it before. Let's look at some of that. Woo! Oh God. Yeah, if we want Shield Advanced, AWS Shield Standard, I think you get that just automatically, don't you? Like you don't even have to turn it on. Yeah, so just like regular old Shield, automatically enabled when you use stuff. Okay, so we would need either an ELB or an ALB. Looks like CloudFront would actually be part of it. So yeah, CloudFront, that's the reason. Route 53, I think, is like automatically done for us. I'd have to double check that part. Yeah, no worries, Code Drift. Gnocchi and with lardons. You're a lardon. Sorry, bad joke. I don't know what a lardon is. With and a side salad with endive and balsamic. And hold on, endive. What is endive again? A leafy vegetable with slightly bitter, nutty flavor and crunchy leaves. Oh, okay. Hmm. Man, that sounds like a solid meal. Oh, okay. So lardons is actually an accurate name. Okay. Master the lardon, it's actually better than bacon. We'll see about that. Interesting. Okay. So any reason? Oh, I guess pork belly isn't typically cured, right? So that would be the reason why you would do lardons because they are cured. So you would get slab bacon to do that. Got it. Okay. Huh. Huh. Okay. I was not familiar with AWS Lite. Okay, so hold on. A core goal of Architect is to make building functional web apps simpler, blah, blah, blah. And let me zoom in for y'all. So AWS manages the SDK inside the Lambda environment. Okay, so that works. That's cool. Developer experience stuff, logging and monitoring. Okay, so we got some work ahead of us for this stuff. Oh, geez. Okay, so hold on. It's kind of funny the names they give these. Yeah, no worries, Hunar. Oh, so we meet again. I thought you were saying we will meet again. Yeah, I thought you were taking off. You just got here. Yeah, how you doing? What version of Architect am I even on? Let me double check that bit. 5.0 there. Looks like 10 for Architect itself. So then, yeah, 10 to 11. Cool. Been in the stream for a while, asleep, just woke up. Yeah, because you stopped in earlier, right? Maybe not. YouTube autoplay, which is interesting to me because they changed the URL and everything, don't they? I guess I haven't looked at it from a consumer's level. I know they changed the chat box though. Yeah, they changed the URL. Weird. And man, I need to make some more YouTube videos. I'm slacking. Interesting, Hunar. Yeah, yeah, so it just picked it because you watch here often enough. That's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't even expect that people got here that way. The algorithm, yeah, exactly. All right, so proxy could work. All right, so yeah, I do the verbose part, which I'm okay with. Time to go. Dinner time? Well, what you eating for dinner? This is important. Kidney beans? Just kidney beans? All right. with Roti. So you're currently in BC, Canada. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, back to thinking about how we want to do this. And yeah, let's look at the continuous integration bit. Just in case. Oh, so there's an action build and an action deploy. Nice. Oh. Okay, so if I wanted to do their deploy process, the way I end up tagging versions of the API and stuff would go up to production that way. Okay. So roti is just flatbread on a pan. Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, we did a little bit of discovery here. So yeah, in user settings, oh, yeah, it's because we didn't actually change anything. So that's why that was disabled. So that part's fine. Okay. So yeah, our next steps. Implementing Sandbox. The easy steps are maybe to get like the UI portion of things done. One thought that I'm having right now is my plan was to have a header be added to requests. But maybe that's only if you're a user, right? Whereas if you're going with the API key, you shouldn't need to add the header because you're using the Sandbox API key and it's easy enough to validate that. So the dashboard just simply sends the header, and we determine that. But with an API key, the key itself determines that. I think I like that. So then, yeah, we got to be like really explicit about that value. Like always making it into our requests for the front end. So if we want that, and hold on, let me get more music going. All right, we need to consider the state that we're going to be updating. We'll close API for now, and let's look at our stores. Would we consider sandbox stuff an auth store thing, or is it an environment thing? I'd say it's environment. So we'll create a new store file. And that is nowhere close to accurate. We'll just say is sandbox. All right, so we got this value here. So now when we look at services, it's really just going to be here in the base. The authenticated versus unauthenticated, only the authenticated requests are going to do this. All right, so this function attach token header. Instead of just attach token header, I think this is attach headers. So I don't think X environment is what we need. I would say just X sandboxed. So if the header is there, it's the string true value, which is fine. We can make that string be anything, and it's not going to matter. We're not going to have other environments. That's not a big deal. Yeah, so we'll do that. That's pretty much all we need to do. For like what the front end does for the sandboxing. I think that works. Yeah. Yeah, so that's all we need there. Now we just need the UI part for showing it and like for toggling it, and the UI part for showing that you're in the sandbox environment. So we'll do that bit. Yeah, so let's get back to here. Something has gone terribly wrong. Blocked by CORS policy. Requested header field X sandboxed is not allowed by access control allow headers. So we do have to make a backend modification. And yeah, this is a header that we have to attach here. You're drinking some red wine? Nice. I am drinking some whiskey. And yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't say sponsored by Neff. I don't think I Yeah, I think I paid for this beanie, but I used to get free Neff beanies because of the rep that I rode for when I was a snowboarder. Um, yeah, I was I was rep sponsored by Rome, and then that same rep ended up doing Neff and Von Zipper and One Ball J. And yeah, that was a blast. Really good time. So yeah, I got kind of like hooked on Neff beanies. There's others that are nice, but like I don't know, there's something really nice about the knit, like the material, the fit. There's just so much I really like about the Neff beanies. I plan on making some of my own, but I'm slacking on that part. Who knows? Maybe we'll pull that trigger and make it happen here soon. Pretty accurate, yeah, for sure. The owner of the first company I worked for is like cousins with Sean Neff in some way as well. But yeah, their beanies are fantastic. I want to make my own Mr. Sir beanies, you know. I basically just need to register a business. Like I want it to be a separate business from Whirly Gig Labs though. Why isn't my chat working today? It is working. We just don't show YouTube chat on stream. And over here on Twitch, people are a bit quiet at the moment. You didn't have to delete that. It's fine. Totally okay. I think that was a good question. What's up, Hadlow? Saying hi to YouTube. There you go. But yeah, core stuff, always fun. I'm pretty sure I just need to set a header. I'm actually attach common headers. Let me look at where we're doing that even. Oh yeah. So it's got to be custom headers anyway. Yep. What extension am I using for which part? Right, the part where it says like variable common headers like that, or like when I start typing and it shows that stuff. Like which extension are you looking for? The spiciness. The spiciness is from an extension called JSTS biscuits. It does have some weirdness. Like you'll notice it's happening twice for some reason. So it's not ideal. But basically it's just a way of annotating like an ending bracket. Now, in this file, not as important. But recognize that we just have a few biscuit plugins. So this one, which we just recently hit 12,000 installs for. Yes. This one's for annotating like ending brackets of divs and HTML elements in general, which VS Code doesn't do the sticky header thing very well for. And then the other one that I think is actually important, right? Like, hold on, whoops. Right, we've got a CSS one and the JavaScript TypeScript one, but then we also have assorted biscuits that allow you to do C, C#, Elm, Go, Java, JSON, Kotlin, Lua, PHP, Python, Rust, TOML, and YAML. And we could probably reevaluate the list of tree sitter grammars that actually compile to WASM and maybe expand that list a bit. We could do that here eventually. Maybe that's something we do on Monday. But yeah, here you can see that we do the same thing as JSTS biscuits where we annotate the ending brackets. And if you're a NeoVim user, we got you handled too. So yeah, does that help there, Bishwa? Yeah, it's a fun extension. We built all of those here on stream like 3 or so years ago. During like the height of the pandemic. Plus 3 downloads? Did you download all 3 of them? Thank you. Yeah, JSTS biscuits, I would say you may want to disable because it gets a bit noisy. I pretty much don't even see it anymore. But it is somewhat useful sometimes. HTML, CSS, and JSTS. Cool. I would recommend assorted biscuits if you ever dabble in other languages, like C# or Java or whatever. Totally up to you. All right, so then back to what we're looking at here. Yeah, we just have to do this as custom headers. So then this is not allow origin. Actually, hold on. We can just let it autocomplete some stuff. C++, I think. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. I'd say give it a shot. But yeah, that might be why I need to go like reevaluate the tree sitter grammars. Right, I see C and C#, but not C++. So I don't know. I'd say give it a shot. Totally up to you. Let me know how it works too. Like if it doesn't or if it does. Oh, and it's X sandboxed. All right, cool. So we got the cores issue fixed. Yeah, it was easy enough. All right, so then that part's good. With that value set to true, right? Because it is by default. Now we need the UI bit. That really just lives here in the app component. So then is sandbox and set is sandbox. And hold on, someone shared what this looks like. Yeah, we're going to call it sandbox instead of test mode, but basically the same idea. All right, so here we're doing items center. They call it switch. Label position on the left. All right, so then above the app shell. So I don't want to put this there. Yeah, so then if we look at this, right, so we can do orange like they do. How do we feel about orange like they do? And let me get some more music going. I should probably verify the contrast. I could have sworn there was a way to validate contrast here. Here we go. Accessibility. Nope, that isn't it. Oh, is that how you do it? All right, so 7.49, which is pretty good. Yeah, good call. I didn't realize that. Ooh, 2.8. So yeah, orange is no good. We got to do black. So I'd say we're good now, yeah? That looks okay to me. So then if we toggle it, I don't like how the positioning jumps. That's a little weird. And it looks like our sizing is off. Ah, that would be why. Okay. Put some translate on it? What do you mean by that? You mean so it like fades in or something? Like slides in? Why would we want to transform? Oh, you're saying animated in. Eh, I'm not too worried about that. I'm okay with it popping that way. I think I'm totally okay with that. Let me see this though. Yeah, so we definitely need a sizing value. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's a problem. I don't know. If we're gonna do orange for the sandbox thing, we should probably make this the switch orange as well, right? Yeah, and I mean, I would say easing it in is not a bad bit of feedback. Like, honestly, like, not a bad bit of feedback. I'm not sure it's something we want to do immediately, though. Okay, so I like that so far. Yeah, fetching new data as we do this is something we might want to consider, right? Like our use effect for that data fetching could be worthwhile. That would be on a different page, though. So if we go back to notes, so we got those parts, right? Toggle at the top of the page, persistent banner when in sandbox mode. Actually, yeah, we'll just pull that part out. So yeah, this is going to be probably the most time-consuming part. API stuff. When in mobile view, put a toggle in the menu. Oh, and one thing we need for the short term. Reassess how we do business selection. And we'll just get the business selector back going, like now, right? Okay, so there we go. Hash-based links in sidebar? Nope. We don't need that right now. We'll leave it. We don't need to delete that yet. And yeah, we don't even have that ESLint hook going, but we should. Yeah, fetching businesses is not a problem. Yes, this is the part where we got the business selector. Hold on, did we comment those out? No, we just deleted them. That was a mistake. I think button is coming from the wrong place. Totally is. Business is probably necessary. I don't think, yeah, we're not doing that. So we do that. That fixes that bug. Plus duotone. Let me get more music going. Does synthwave belong in a museum, Junior? All right, Mantine Core. All right, so we get that back going. I don't like our plus icon. We'll probably fix that. Oh, random stuff. Yeah, I'll give you the link. Yeah, I just can't, like, I can't pass the audio to YouTube because YouTube's algorithm for, like, doing, like, demonetization and all that stuff is really bad. Even if we're listening to royalty-free music according to their title, YouTube just still makes it super annoying. But yeah, anytime you're curious about what I'm listening to, just let me know. I will eventually get some kind of command going for YouTube. Like, we got to do that here at some point soon anyway. All right, so I like what we got so far. Oh, I don't like that that icon messes up the select. Hold up. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure why their select dropdown breaks that. That should be non-clickable, and it should open up the box. It's because it's like a right section instead of just a like an overlay. That's annoying. That's a Mantine bug. So we could go create a new business. We can head back. I think that's fine. Yeah, so I would say we're very close for this front end stuff, right? Like the learn more button needs to go somewhere. Let me add that to my notes. Create page or tooltip explaining sandboxing. And I think a tooltip's probably not the right way. So yeah, we would do just a page, like a popover still I don't think is the right option either. So a separate page somewhere in our docs site would be worthwhile. And yeah, how you doing, Indy? What you up to? All right, so business user API key. So yeah, business user sandbox our balance quota balance payment balance transaction quota adjustment quota usage audit logs for audit logs for all of the above. Do I know a page where you can contribute to projects? You're kind of new on the open source, but you're old on the IT industry. You're probably just looking for GitHub stuff, right? So GitHub is probably the place that you're looking for. There's also Algora. Algora. So they have bounties on open source projects. So you can actually get paid for contributing to open source. And good first issue. I would say good first issue is maybe less of what you're looking for, because this is more about like first issues for more like junior devs. but that could be a good option as well. And I think there's even like a tag on GitHub for good first issue. Here's another site. Looks like GitHub has their own. So here's another good option. So yeah, like basically the phrase good first issue, you can do all your Googling yourself at this point. But that's probably what you were looking for. And then yeah, there's goodfirstissues.com. Maybe worth checking out. I don't know. There are options though, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey, looks like we got a bunch of new follows a little bit ago too. Aw. Okay, so I would say this is probably a decent point to leave off for the day. Because I need food in my belly. It's almost 8 p.m. And also, I don't necessarily want to get started on the API side of things yet. I allocated an entire week for this. We might be able to knock it out within like a couple days. This might be like finished up by the end of Friday. We'll see how it actually goes during the endpoints that we start fiddling with. I want to create like a nice and easy way to create our keys. So there may be a bit of like an abstraction we need for how we generate our keys. That would be the trickier bit. And I do kind of want to like stew on that a bit. So yeah, tomorrow is a day off. You know, it's actually like a full work day for me. They tend to schedule a lot more meetings on Wednesdays, which I'm totally okay with, because Wednesdays and Sundays are my days off. And it's a day for me to like knock out some of the content creation stuff I need to do. And then tomorrow night is Seattle JS, so like, you know, I'd be wrapping up here at like 4:30 anyway to make it into Seattle, which is a great reason to, you know, maybe treat Wednesdays as a day off. I also normally game with James and Wormbane on Wednesdays when I don't have Seattle JS to go to. So yeah, I think we might be able to knock this bit out quicker. I think audit logs for a bunch of these things, that might be post MVP. This part is probably going to take us way longer. But yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like we're getting close to launching the MVP, which I'm really happy about. But it'll probably still be a few weeks away. But once we've got the MVP launched, we'll dedicate a couple days a week to making sure we're like still working on this. And then the other days of the week, we'll work on a project that dog foods Waltr a bit. And we'll do, you know, some more like short-term open source stuff too. So yeah, all right. So I guess here's the next bit. Who do we go raid? And then, yeah, I'll be over on Gaming Channel. You know, if you're not aware, I've got a gaming channel called Griffing and Chill. I should actually look into starting to stream gaming over to YouTube, too. That could be kind of cool. But yeah, I'd say we're at a good like wrapping up point for the day. So now we got to figure out, who do we go raid? Who's even streaming right now? Midnight Simon's doing some web dev. We see Blazebits, Try Catch TV. Looks like Spanish over there. Yeah, no, we had an amazing day. We got a lot of work done, actually. I'm really proud of it. Is there someone new maybe we could raid? I see a lot of game dev, not much programming, which isn't a problem. We could raid a gamer. All right, so it's down to Blazebits or Midnight Simon. What do y'all think? Midnight Simon's doing some... Oh, he's doing some actual, like, dev. Nah, this is a great one. Yeah, instead of some leak code BS. Now, let's go raid Midnight Simon. He's a good dude. Yeah, I do too. So yeah, again, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you again to Leon with the raid earlier. Massive raid. Like, so many people were in here. It just so happened to be while I was on a work call, which was, you know, it happens. Stupid work. He was trying to work out JWTs. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's doing Auth right now, right? Auth with Supabase and Remix. Yeah, sounds fun. Let's go see what he's up to. So we're going to go say hi. Everyone on YouTube, thank you so much for hanging out today. We had a great stream. Super fun having y'all just chill and lurk. I'll be back on Thursday, so I'll see you then. So later, YouTube.